This is Mr. Westbrook's 7th period social studies class doing our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Moore.
Here.
Mrs. Spindler.
Here.
Mr. Vincent.
Here.
Mr. Ziny.
Here.
Mrs. Engel.
Here. We have a quorum. We can continue. Public participation. Okay. I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes.
Mr. Ziny.
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. Some presentations. We're going to start with the Eco Summit leaders, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
I am Selena Suchuri, and we are the Eco Warriors, and we consist of 7 members.
I'm Laura Selfinger.
I'm Waylon Weiss.
I'm Sarah Downing. I'm Madeline White. I'm Allie Langwasser.
And, well, how did we get here? In the beginning, during the first quarter or so, second quarter, we filled out Google Forms. Out of all the students that filled it out, we were the ones that were chosen to do this project. And in November, we went to Columbus Zoo, where we learned how to present. We learned how to make a project. We learned how to incorporate it. We learned how to involve professionals in our project so we can make it work. And now we are here today with a lot of things. And we were chosen to participate in this amazing opportunity. We are very grateful for this opportunity to contribute to the world, and we hope to encourage change. We hope to encourage a brighter future, to consider what our future could be. Our project is Roots for the Future, and our slogan, Plant a Tree and Save a Future.
Okay, so as Sabina said, we are Roots for the Future, and basically an overview of our plan is we hope to plant trees around our campus. So as you can see here, Phase 1 is going to be Route 40. It would be, actually I'll go into phase 1 and Phase 2 more. But Phase 2 is Smoke Road. Phase 3 is the parking lot, which is already, the ground is prepped. And then Phase 4 would be Warrior Way, and then with that would be the wetlands. Phase 3, 4, and 5 are more for future years. We're mostly focusing on Phase 1 and Phase 2 right now. So, a little bit more depth with Phase 1. So Phase 1, as I said, would be along 40. It'd be 56 trees along Route 40. We have 4 different species, so it would be 14 of each tree, and they would be planted about 20 to 25 feet away and apart from each other, and then 20 feet off the road. We got that by working with Garmin Miller, our architects, to find all the lines that we have to avoid, work with, such like fire lines. And then we would love to add shrubs and pollinators alongside each tree to get a little pod, we're kind of calling it, of shrubs, pollinators, and then obviously a tree. And then Phase 2, we were doing a line of evergreens along Smoke Road. Actually, I'll go back then. Along Smoke Road, it would be, we're making a line of evergreens as kind of a natural, almost like a natural barrier. And then, but like we said right now, Phase 3, Phase 4, and Phase 5 would be for future years of Eco Summit. So you're probably asking, how do we plan on doing that? The plan is we would love to be sponsored by plaques bought by the community. Like we have Sarah will go into, or Allie will go into plaques more later, but basically we're going to have, like we said, plaques to be sponsored, different tiers, and all of that will go into a money pool that we're going to purchase trees and other stuff like that. And then we're going to have a community volunteer day that will work with sports teams, council members, National Honor Society, etc., to help plant the trees. We wouldn't be doing the heavy lifting. Garmin Miller would basically like dig up the holes, and then we would just have to do like the very basic, just put the tree in and then a fence. And then we also have a days that we would love to do. May 1st, we're gonna have orders close. May 8th would be we wanna do planting after school so that we could help, like the teachers could get involved, students, etc. May 14th, we wanna lay the plaques, and then Allie, like I said, will go into plaques more, but that would be fairly simple. Like it would only require a few adults and then us. And then May 18th, after graduation, since everybody would already be there, we wanna do an unveiling ceremony of our plaques. So, yeah. Yep. And then why trees? Obviously, trees are beautiful. Our campus is already so beautiful, but we would love to just take it to the next step. And so for futures, we would love to build on this. One, the air quality is a pretty big concern coming off of 40. It's Route 40, cars going by every single day. And trees act as filters, absorbing pollutants like CO, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. The temperature regulation would help with like air conditioning and heating. We would cut down on cost of the school. And then the educational benefits, they vary. The noise pollution coming off of the school or coming off of the road, it's very distracting as a student. I'm only there for 2 periods, but in those 2 periods, I hear cars honking, police sirens, and it's very hard for someone who doesn't focus well already to have to deal with that when the trees would, as we said, act as a barrier. And then the health benefits, studies show that just looking at a tree reduces stress, anxiety, and depression, and trees can promote mental well-being. And then physical green spaces encourage, we could, outdoors, like kids playing and just getting people moving and helping.
So here are some of the trees that we chose. We didn't just choose them willy-nilly. We have worked with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources to look more into the trees. And the northern white cedar and the eastern red cedar would be more for Smoke Road. But I'm just going to go into some detail of why we chose the trees that we chose. So the northern red oak produces a lot of food, such as acorns, foliage, and seedlings for different animals, and it tends to be resistant to pests and diseases. The red maple, lots of animals love to use them for habitats, such as squirrels, rabbits, and deer, a lot of which we find here in Pataskala. The yellowwood is the only somewhat slow-growing tree we have. The rest are all fast-growing. But the yellowwood, along with their golden rain, they both produce flowers, so hopefully in the future with our growing agriculture program, we could start creating something with bees, especially with the middle school, which is growing very widely in their agriculture program. Along with the golden rain as well, people do tend to plant these to block noise. They're very good noise barriers, which is one of our main concerns. Oh, hello. Now, here are some of the shrubs and pollinators we chose. The butterfly weed, contrary to its name, is not actually a weed. They are very easy to care for, drought and deer resistant, and it is considered a milkweed plant, which are critical to monarch butterfly survival. And in the past 20 years, the monarch population in North America has gone down by 90%. So by having these, hopefully we can bring them back. The purple prairie clovers are often used for revegetation and have no serious pest or disease issues. The lance leaf tick seed is pest and disease free as well, and deers don't really care for it. The sweet pepper bush is self-pollinating, so we won't need male and female plants for the peppers to grow, which is especially helpful because female pollinators tend to be invasive, but this one is not. The northern arrowwood can get up to 10 feet tall, helping with the noise and shade, and it is incredibly low maintenance. The button bush can get up to 12 feet tall and is incredibly deer resistant. And then the hydrangea is incredibly low maintenance, and it really does not care about soil, which is really great for our situation because our soil around our school is not the best right now.
True.
Oh my god, why is this is the most sensitive thing ever.
Okay. So plaques are for fundraising. Each donation goes to the project as a whole, not just by buying a specific tree. These donations will go towards tree costs, shrubs, mulch, and etc. With each donation, there's a dollar range that determines the size plaque you will receive. On the plaque, you can have a custom image or message, for example, and not limited to, like your family name in memory of and honoring military members. We have partnered with Polar Engravings, who is one of the few companies certified to engrave the military emblems. We plan on putting, for example, the military emblems around the flagpole in front of the main entrance of the high school. And like with these different tiers, these are just examples like with different sizes, you know, and we did like, it is not limited to military, we've had that a lot, but it is any message, any image, you know, but they are one of the few companies that is certified to do it, so that is why we have shown it on here. How do you do it?
Mrs. Moore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's like some of the like amount of words that you can have maximum per each size. And then, so there's around the flagpole where we would plan, for example, to put the military plaques. And the other plaques we plan on putting in the open area right of the main entrance if you're facing the school. So in the bottom right image. We're working with Ms. Castile-Miller, our art teacher, to place the plaques in the most orderly way. Us 6 members will be able, like Madeline said, to apply the plaques ourselves with a few adults there. It's a really simple process. And then we also plan on an unveiling / ceremony opening to the public May 18th after graduation. We believe that this will make it easiest for the public to access since it's a day most families will already be on campus.
So ways we've been supported or are being supported. In December, we submitted a video for a grant to the Columbus Zoo. And from that, we received $1,050. And from that money, we were able to, it's like our seed money. So we'll be able to use it for like trees, mulch, wire, stakes, and anything that we really need to get it kickstarted. And then right now, we're also in the second round for a grant for compost, which we can use as mulch and as a like replacement for mulch, which is really beneficial because it'll provide like nutrients to the soil and the trees. So it's like getting both of those. And then if we aren't able to get that, we plan on using the baseball's team's mulch so we can support our school. And then additionally, we are in partnership with 1,500 Trees. We have secured a site for their planting locations. They're a company that are located in Licking County, and their goal is to plant 1,500 trees. And by the end of February, we're gonna know how many trees that they're willing to give us. So when we know that number, then we're gonna know how many we need to get. And that company they take care of everything. They plant it and they water it and they make sure it stays alive. And then lastly, like the most important part for us is to get publicity, so social media, being in newsletters. And then the last thing would be, we talked with the treasurers and we're setting up a hometown ticketing, since that'd be the easiest way for online payment and it's quicker and more accessible to people. And then here's all the people we've worked with. We've worked with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and Gorman Miller. They've been our biggest help so far because they were able to give us a list of native trees and we were able to pick and use logical decisions to make this possible. And 1,500 Trees and the Teen Eco Summit to get us kickstarted on this project.
Can you guys share with the board the difference between the brick you shared and the actual plaque?
So the brick we got is a sample brick that Polar Engraving will give out for free, and that is more an example of how the engraving would look. The plaques we would put on the ground are more like tiles. They're very thin.
And those just stick basically to everything that's already there.
Correct.
Is that right?
They sent us a paper on how to do it and how to maintain it.
awesome.
Very
That
good.
is
Great. Good
very
job.
well
I
thought
think they're
out.
definitely looking like, they met with myself multiple times, Rick, Stacy. Do you guys give the thumbs up? Like, do you like the direction? Or
Oh,
how-
absolutely.
I'm ready to buy a plaque.
Okay.
I was going to say we should get a board plaque.
Yes, we
2024.
should get a board.
Great idea. Yeah.
I'm excited because the more I read and hear, trees are the answer to our pollution problems. And it's exciting to see you guys involved in this.
Yeah.
It's
So
neat.
thank you.
Yeah, it's neat to see service learning going on, and this is, this is project-based learning. This is putting everything that you've learned in the classroom to action. I think that's awesome.
It's a lot of hard work. So.
Yeah, it's not easy.
job.
And great presentation, by the way. Yeah, I know it's not easy to do that.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
All right. We have a couple building updates. Are we going to start with Aetna?
Nope.
We've got to follow that presentation.
Oh my God, I need those pants.
No, right.
Are you taking it back to the start? Yeah. Thanks for all your help. Good evening.
It's on. It's just.
It won't have volume. Yeah.
It's just for the
It's
recording.
for the on the
Online
recording,
people.
not necessarily here.
Okay, well, I'm going to use this just so they can introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Susan Cottle. I'm the principal at Etna Elementary. Actually, really excited to be here this evening. I brought 3 of our amazing Etna Eagles with us. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves. First, we have.
I am Chase Evans. Third grade.
Who's your teacher?
Mr. Jemison.
We also have with us.
Alexa Ebert.
What grade?
Third.
Who's your teacher?
Miss Power.
Otto Scholes. I'm in third grade and I'm in Miss Wilson's class.
So they are going to be my lovely assistants today, and I brought them because they were involved in a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about today. And I will try to keep this brief. Dan, sorry. So the first thing is social and emotional learning is still a huge commitment for us. So we have our Character Strong program in our classrooms, morning meetings in our classrooms, social groups by Ms. Truman and Ms. Wright. Those are our school counselor and social worker. Guidance lessons that occur in the classrooms. Our PACS leaders, our school-wide PBIS implementation. Our senior mentors that are the high school students that come into the classrooms, and our Connection Club. So first, I would be remiss if I did not say how amazing our senior mentors are. We had great mentors last year, and we have amazing mentors this year. They're coming into our regular classrooms, and especially, I can't even tell you how important they are to our supportive classrooms. And so the one there, that's Jimmy walking down the hallway with one of our students that has autism. So that's a pretty amazing bond that he has formed. But I just can't say enough about this program, and I hope it never, ever goes away. So the next program.
In Connection Club, we partner students and provide them with intentional opportunities to work on social skills through peer collaboration.
One thing that I've learned in Connection Club is to be fair and not equal. It's nice, it's fun, it's nice, and we learn how to make friends.
Working with my friend is fun because we can play together.
Connection Club makes me feel
Happy.
Generous, joyful.
In Connection Club, I've learned
How to work with others that are different from me.
How to be kind to others.
How to be patient.
Connection Club is all about working with others who are different and making friends.
Connection Club has always been a big part of our school, but this year I feel like we've really upped the ante, and it's amazing. So Otto is one of they're actually all in Connection Club, but Otto is one of the members of a Connection Club. We're just gonna ask him, what part do you like the best about Connection Club?
Making new friends and helping special needs people.
Awesome, thank you, Otto. So put this back on there. Sorry. So I just want to talk about, we are big on, we like to celebrate the successes and be very public about the successes of our students. So we try to catch kids doing really good things, and then we very publicly put it out there, Facebook, send it out in Dojo. We have our TV slides since the renovation, which is awesome. So we have the slideshow constantly going. They always get to see themselves. They love seeing themselves on the TV. So our weekly Golden Eagle tickets are for just catching kids in common areas, doing good things, and we encourage teachers that don't have those students to try to catch those kids. So then we have a drawing every week. We have our Regal Eagles that are in our classrooms. So it can be one kid a day, one kid a week, doing something extraordinary within the class, and then they are picked each week. We have 5 or 6, and they do on the morning announcements, and as you see, they take pictures with the big Eagles. The bus awards, Mr. Brown started doing that, so we do bus awards just so they can be public and they can see it. I mean, the one looks like the bus is running me over, and kids did ask, why is the bus running you over? So we have to switch the pictures. But we like to do that, and then each month we have our character strong traits. Whatever the trait is with that month that we're doing in the classrooms, we have an assembly to celebrate those, and there's someone represented from each class. This month it's honesty. We want to teach our Eagles to give back. We think that's very important for us. So these are just some of the pictures of some of the things that we were doing. So we've donated over 5,000 food items or items to the food pantries through 4 actual different events this year. We have Trash or Treasure with the Wildlife Federation, where we recycle candy wrappers for doggy bags that go to shelters. All the elementary schools and intermediate challenged our students on the first snow day to go out and shovel some snow. We have students that are continuing to do that, and they're sending me pictures every time that they're doing it. And we have Random Acts of Kindness that was started by one of our Connection Clubs. And if you can't think of a random act of kindness to do, they have sheets that are around the school that you can rip off a piece of paper that says an act of kindness that you can do. I think we should do our Connection Club. Yeah. So our literacy successes, this is probably one of the things that I am most blown away and most proud of, is the OG small groups implementation of 95%, our literacy goals on all of our PGPs and our reading buddies. So first, this amazing group of dedicated professionals, this is not just 8 teachers. 2 of those are our primary literacy specialists. So they were already part of the program. But the other 6 represent something that's so much bigger, and I want the board and everyone here to know that the investment that you put into this training, like there's no way to thank you enough for what it's done. That's kind of the reason some of these guys are here. It is a huge investment by the district, but it is a huge commitment from the teachers. So the teachers that I have, we had 6 that volunteered to do this because they felt like this training was so important. Mrs. Spurlock is here, and she's one of the ones that are doing the training. They spend about 3.5 hours outside of what their normal work expectations are to work with these students. All of our kids, or all of the teachers that are in the program, come in at 8 a.m. At least 2 days a week where they're working with kids. So before our normal school day, before they're contracted to be there, because they want to do the practicum, and the practicum is very specific as to what they have to do. And then during the day, they find creative ways where they cover each other's, like they take turns covering each other's recess or whatever. So they're not taking away from their students, but they're finding time to do the practicum. And because of what they're doing, other teachers in the building really, really want to do it. Even knowing you may stay after school, coming before school, it's so much bigger than the 24 kids that are in the practicum. And like I said, it's very specific. They have to work with an individual kid, a group of 2. The second year program, which is our primary literacy specialist, can work with 3 each. But those 24 kids is not where it ends. Every kid within that classroom, when I go in Mackenzie's classroom, I see every single kid in there benefiting from the strategies that she's learned. Staff professional development, our PLSs and our OG team lead those, or TBTs, one Wednesday a month that's getting all the staff. Further than that, our TBTs at grade level, they are meeting and working together to do strategies to help with their small groups. and to help with some of the stuff that they are doing with the 95%, which I'll talk about here in just a sec. And it aligns perfectly with 95%. So that's probably the best part of all, is that it completely lines up, and it's so exciting when I'm going classroom to classroom and seeing those connections as well. Right now we have a student, you okay, who wanted to speak about how this program has changed him. So he was just asked the question is, how do you feel your reading and spelling has changed?
It has definitely changed a lot from what I have learned. It didn't feel good when I tried to spell. Now it feels pretty good to know that I can read and spell. I can even spell and read challenging words. I can read more fluently. I feel like I know different ways to sound out words. For example, I can put my hand under my chin to count the syllables in words. I can find the vowels and code words to find the patterns. I can finger stretch the sounds in words. I've been saying words my entire life, but I didn't know how to spell them. Now I am transformed into an excellent reader. All of this is thanks to Miss Burlock and Miss Emerson, two great teachers.
Thank you. Yeah. Now the next. So he wanted to also tell us what is his favorite part about being part of OG.
My favorite part is how much I have learned. I went from a good second grade year to an amazing third grade year. I want to thank all the great teachers that have spent lots of years helping us kids to learn. There are so many ways to learn and so many different strategies that teachers use to help us kids learn. Teachers can be moms, dads, coaches, family members, and school teachers. You can learn so much from all the people around you. You can learn something new every day.
Thank you, Trace. So Alexa is also in the program, and we wanted to ask her, are you glad, first of all, are you glad that you did it?
Yes, I am.
Say, what's your favorite part of it? Or what's your favorite part about doing it?
Probably when we kind of changes the vowels and
The
all
vowel
that.
sounds. So why are you so glad you did this?
Because it helps me out by being a better reader and writer.
So if you couldn't hear her, it helps her out being a better reader or writer. So even though she's doing the program, she's still soft-spoken, unlike me. But she's done amazing, and I can tell you this little girl is in the second year. She's working with one of our PLSs. Her dedication and her parents to get her there, she has come at 8 o'clock. Last year she came at 8 o'clock, right? 2 days a week, and then this year, as soon as she gets to school early, she is doing the second part of it. So it is amazing, and I've gotten to see her from the first week she did OG last year to today, getting to watch her, and I almost started crying in the middle of my teacher observation or the PLS observation because it is absolutely amazing. One last thing that I wanted to do about OG is I have a lot of parents that have reached out to talk about the benefits that it's had. So there's 2 emails. I just want to share a small portion of a text and an email. Moving to this district was a fresh start last year. Not having the student's name. So she never liked to read because it was difficult for her. When OG started, she would argue about coming to school at 8 a.m. It's not her. Now she looks forward to it because she can read, she says it's because she can read like the other students in her class. She is actually reading on her own at home because she enjoys it. In my opinion, this year has changed her entire future. Another parent wrote, I can't tell you how excited, happy, and proud I am of him. You have done a phenomenal job. This was to the teacher. I could never thank you enough for helping him. And then at the end of the text, it says that program has changed, has been a life changer for him. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of you for that commitment. And along with that commitment goes into 95%, which they go perfectly together. And I can tell you the level of where our kids are reading is amazing. It is amazing. So 95%, our students are engaged. And our teachers are having fun with it. So you see Mrs. Westbrook putting on her special glasses for doing her consonant blends. But when you're going from classroom to classroom, you can see those things that they're going to take from one year to the next. It's pretty, like I said, it's just, I need to find a different word besides amazing, but that's all I can think to say about it. And one of the things that we know for students to be able to comprehend, they have to be able to decode and fluently read. The other part of that is they have to know what they're reading, like they have to know vocabulary. So vocabulary acquisition is key to comprehension. And the vocabulary acquisition is especially for students that are EL learners. So we know it's important for all of them, but to increase comprehension, our grade level teachers are working together to create realia-based mini lessons, which we know is a high yield strategy, to pre-teach vocabulary prior to a 95% reading passage. This first one that was up there, it was one of the first ones that we did, not we, that the first grade teachers did, and it was about mud scrapping. So the students did a mud scrapping activity, so they had something to connect it to because they had no idea what it was talked about. So that's one of the things that they did. Now also, our grade levels, okay, so you go ahead and you pass this one out and you pass this out. Oh, I'm sorry, not that you guys back here are important, but I got a paper budget to keep.
Thank you.
So first, I just want to show, so this first one that you're getting, it's about a grebe. And I don't know if you know what a grebe is, but until like last week, I had no idea what a grebe was. But if you ask one of our first graders, they can tell you all about it. So if you could do me a favor and just kind of scroll through this for me, Jeff. So they put together slides that they pre-teach vocabulary for students, and it's realia-based, so that way there's real pictures, real things. So in this reading passage that you guys have that doesn't have a grade level on it, they had to know about Crete, that it's an island in Greece. They had to know it's a freshwater bird, thank you, cheese. They had to know where Crete was. It showed them a map of Greece. So there's a lot of stuff that is going into this, but these first graders to be able to read this passage, it's pretty intense, but the kids love it. So keep going, and then they do something. There's always something funny or eye-catching that's in it, and they do this pre-teaching when they're doing this big reading passage that they're doing in 95%. The one that I gave you is a student's actual workbook, and they underlined the words, and he drew the picture at the bottom to help him remember what it looks like. But it helps with their reading fluency. And at the very end, there's a picture of, they did Mario, where they have the fingers, which you can't really see it because it's not really the actual slideshow. But he puts his fingers up, which is the sign for the silent E gesture that they will then use through all the grades once they learn that. So it's pretty awesome. And then, Jeff, if you could do the other one for me real quick. The other passage that I gave you was second grade. So it's not always as elaborate as that. So there was another one that we did that the second grade teachers did, because when they're in here, their fluency words, they wanted them to just know what it is. And again, we have kids that swarm, they had no idea what it was. So pictures of the bees, you can just go down through. So it's just real quick. They put in quick, easy pictures, things to remember. The kids have access to these slides. They can go back and revisit it. They go over it just a few minutes before they are doing their lessons, and it's helped the frustration of the comprehension piece. So now they don't have that. So some of the stuff that was taking a really long time because kids didn't understand what they were reading or what the words meant, now it's taken that out of it. So now they can actually focus on reading. Okay, you can go back. We're almost done. Almost done. They did do a great job. So our reading buddies isn't anything that's new. We're doing it this year, we're just doing it a lot more intentionally. So kindergarten with second grade, first grade with third grade, and trying to make those connections to what they're doing in their classrooms. It's pretty awesome. And then the next thing is what we're doing this week. It's so exciting. We have STEM week, it's the STEM Olympics. Tomorrow is the big competitions where they're going to be competitions against each other's classes. We've got kids trash talking each other like, I'm going to beat your class. So this is them in their design process where they were doing some research, trying to figure it out, coming up with their designs. Here's pictures of them testing their designs that they will be doing the competitions for tomorrow. Each class made a flag that represented their own class. So there's a picture of the one. So I'm assuming that one has got to be Mr. Miller's class because they did weather and they had the lightning and all of the stuff in the classrooms. Like I said, tomorrow is when they're competing. And what are some other things that are going on that's going to be exciting is we are just starting a running club. Some people will be unhappy because we said we're going to cap it at 50 and we got 75 responses in the very first day. So we're gonna have to do a drawing, because we can't do more than that this first time, just trying to make it good. We have Wax Museum, Spelling Bee, Battle of the Books, Right to Read Week coming up, and the world's greatest field day. So we're gonna have to hold Mr. Bates to that. Oh, and Trace wanted you guys to know, what, if they had questions? If you have any questions, he'll take questions from you guys. Any questions for Trace? Because I'm not gonna answer any questions, only Trace is. So if you have any questions?
What is your absolute favorite part of the program?
My favorite part about the program is probably about how us kids are learning more and more this year, of how much that program has changed our learning experience.
Awesome.
He's running for president, by the way. And these two, we got the treasurer, his, and assistant principal, yeah, vice president.
I only have 4 years here.
I was going to say.
So, I think all of our students are amazing, but I brought these three because they consistently, the way that they work, their work ethic, and just how hard they're working. And like I said, these guys coming in at 8 a.m. And getting, some extra reading instruction, and this teacher here, amazing, doing it. So I just, again, I cannot thank the board enough for the district enough for investing in the reading program that we have 95% and paying for it. OG is not a cheap program, but it is essential, and the amount that it is spread throughout our building, I can't even put into words how different things are between just the 3 years I've been here. It is a totally different approach to reading and following the science, so thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
That was awesome.
All right. How about Watkins Middle School? I see Mr. Hare twice in a week.
Good evening. I'm Steve Hare, one of the assistant principals of Watkins Middle School. We would like to thank the Board of Education for the opportunity to share some of the outstanding things going on at Watkins Middle School. We're thankful to have the following teachers joining us this evening. Bryce Phillips, 7th grade career tech teacher, and Molly Hahn, guidance counselor, are here to talk about the PBIS program. Molly Keller, Dean of Students and Intervention Specialist, will be talking about our peer collaborator program. And Taryn Blanco, 6th grade science teacher, will be sharing information about project-based learning.
Mr. Hare was also supposed to intro, but he's seeing how we think on our video here, where we asked a couple kids what they love about WMS, so we'll start with them because they matter more than us.
So what I've loved about Watkins Middle School is all the opportunities I've had here. There have been several new things that I've been able to try and really enjoy, like the art program and agriculture program.
I love that it's big and new.
My favorite thing about Watkins Middle School is that the staff is always so helpful.
My favorite thing about Watkins Middle School is the people and the staff who are so welcoming and kind.
I love being an editor and writer for the Wayer Press.
I love the food.
My favorite thing about Watkins Middle School is how many electives I get to take and how much freedom I have.
I love all the art programs WMS has to offer.
I love the opportunity to play sports for the Watkins Warriors.
I love the middle school community.
All right, so next we just wanted to highlight some of our PBIS programs that we offer at the middle school. We know that sometimes people say that middle school are the hardest years of your life, so we really try really hard to make it as fun as possible. So through our PBIS program, students are able to earn tickets to kind of use as economy to attend different events. So these are just a couple examples of our first and second quarter reward programs. We had Porter's Coffee House come, and students were able to pay 10 tickets to go to the coffee truck, and that was a huge program. The kids loved that opportunity. We also have had a kickball tournament. We've had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament as well. And then we also, for other students who might not be interested in the sports, we had a movie day at the middle school. So 6th, 7th, and 8th graders got to actually vote on the movie they wanted to watch the most, and then they got to watch that movie in the auditorium. And I think the best part about the PBIS program and being able to offer this has been the new facilities and being able to use the building in these capacities, because before we would only be able to do one grade level at a time and have to do separate days. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, so on top of our ticket system, one of the things we wanted to get better at as a staff is just celebrating kids and even the little things they do every day. Because like Ms. Hahn said, I don't know if you've been to middle school ever in your life, but it's not always brimming with just positivity day in and day out. So anything we can do as a staff to be able to recognize them and give the kids a platform to celebrate each other, we like to do. So as well as the tickets in our monthly-ish or every 2 months, depending on the craziness of the schedule, team meetings or grade level meetings. We have a bunch of different things we recognize kids for. Our Ultimate Warrior is really cool because it could be any time of the day. Any staff member sees a kid doing something that they think should be rewarded, or something that helps anyone else out. Something as simple as picking up some trash, volunteering to help Mr. Hare clean up during recess or lunch. They can nominate them for an Ultimate Warrior award. They'll get recognized in front of the entire student body for their grade, and then they have the ability to win that wonderful one-of-a-kind Ultimate Warrior t-shirt, ignore the fact that you see 2 of them. They also have our honor roll students, where every quarter they have a group of our teaching team nominate 2 students per grade level to get the student honor roll, or every month, right? Every month, my bad, not quarter. So they get recognized again in front of the entire student body, and then they also get a pizza party one of the days coming up at school. The attendance incentives are huge because, like Mr. Ball likes to tell the kids, you got to be there to learn. It's the most important part. So there's class incentives for attendance and goals for that, and they get donuts, which they absolutely love their ever-loving minds for. That's the loudest I ever hear kids in the building is when we're doing the little wheel for which homeroom wins the attendance incentive. So it's really cool to see them actually get genuinely excited and not just like teenage sarcastic excited. So a lot of those things are just small, tiny things we do that kind of make the days easier for the staff as well, because we get to be positive and just have some fun with them. So with that, much more experienced speakers who you'll enjoy hearing from. Ms. Keller next.
Thanks, Bryce. Okay, our peer collaboration program. The purpose of our peer collaboration program at the middle school is to promote diversity, encourage engagement, gain confidence, build relationships, and to boost student achievement. We use our peer collabs in core classes, electives, lunch, and recess. The peer collabs go through trainings during the school year to be the best peer role models they can possibly be. While it's a new program, it's booming. We have 51 peer collabs this semester, and we cannot wait to see it grow. It is rewarding to see our peer collaborators connect at the school, but also out in the community. So we asked a couple of teachers just to give us their feedback and a reflection, and here is what 2 had to say. One said, peer collaboration has been so helpful because it lets me be in 2 places at once. My students know that going to a peer collab for help on an assignment or with a question is the same as going to the teacher because of how responsible the students are that we've been placed with. It also lets my students build relationships with older students and helps hold them accountable. My peer collabs truly have become a part of our classroom. When they're absent, the kids notice and always ask when they'll be back. Another teacher mentioned that the peer collaborator program has been wonderful both inside her classroom and for the students that push into the general education setting. They really enjoy the socialization piece as well as the academic support.
Another person adding to the beautiful benefits of peer collaboration. I've had 3 so far this year, and I don't think that I could have gotten through some of my classes without them. They are just like an extension of myself. They really enjoy learning how to help their peers and really recall their knowledge of former grades, so that's kind of fun for them as well. So love the program, and it's doing a great job. I'm here to talk about project-based learning. And now more than ever, especially with the move-in of large tech companies, the integration of all of these new 21st century skills with our agricultural area, we wanted at the middle school to capitalize on the opportunity to teach students by doing and not necessarily by the lecture culture. So what project-based learning does is build student rapport. It allows for a lot of voice and choice, and we know that sometimes that's hard for students to narrow down things that they really enjoy or what they want to do, but what it does is it allows them to choose things that really speak to them and that they're interested in and makes learning all the more engaging. We're changing that lecture culture to inquiry culture, and it's hard at first because you give students an open-ended question and they're like, how many slides? What are my parameters? What questions must I answer? And it's like, they went on a blank field in the Intel, plant, and here we go. This is how we learn. So it's really neat to see them mimic those processes in real life. Also including surprises and delights to engage students, so they always start with something really engaging or something that is relevant in the real world today. You're able to see a ton of project-based learning in action when you go into any classroom, whether that's teaching specific skills, as far as how they use resources, solving problems, critical thinking, or simply just how to manage themselves throughout a project. We've had opportunities such as sustainable food truck festivals, building go-karts, taking geological site tours with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and ODNR. We've tackled holiday STEM challenges as a school, put on the Fall Agricultural Fair to raise money for our agricultural program, and so many more. PBL is going to remain a part of our big picture at the middle school because it creates successful results and fun experiences for students. Part of our big picture that we want to make sure that we are thinking about for the future is making sure that learning stays customizable. So it's inclusive for all of our students of all interest levels, all ability levels, and it really allows them to tailor their learning to things that are interesting to them. It creates career connections to the areas around us and allows them to kind of explore bridges that go up to the high school so that they can explore what kind of careers they may be interested in. It's interdisciplinary, and we actually have 8 cohorts of collaborating staff minds that meet during staff meetings, professional development days from all subjects, so that we're able to plan some co-disciplinary lessons and project-based learning. At the building, we all have a professional goal for each of our staff members, and we're actually piloting some software from Defined Learning that tries to help teachers reduce planning and provide some resources and project ideas so that they can bridge with and gap with each other. And we also have some professional development from PBL Works to strengthen our own skills. So we're teaching students how to be the lead learners.
Okay, we hope that you have enjoyed hearing some of the great things happening at WMS. We could highlight so many other things, but we chose to focus on PBIS, PBL, and Peer Collab. However, the fun is just beginning. If you take a look, we have so many fun events coming up at the middle school. So we have Math Night, our C-Tech field trip, we have Kona Ice and Dodgeball Tournament coming up, the Black Light Art Show and Culture Night, Science Fair, our Washington, D.C. trip, our 8th grade awards recognition, and finally we'll end off our school year with Field Day. So our doors are always open to you. 2 more pictures we wanted to highlight. We mentioned the C-Tech field trip, but one of our goals is to get every single one of our students on a college campus before they graduate from Watkins. So every single one of our 7th graders had the opportunity to attend a college visit at Ohio State Newark this year, and it was really awesome. Some of the programs that they offer have encouraged students of all abilities and all levels of learners to have the opportunity to go on after high school. And also, we had the awesome opportunity to go to Meta Day at COSI. So, we don't want to leave until we give you a small gift. So, please enjoy the gift made for you by our WMS students. In the bag, you will find, we didn't want any secrets. I know you're supposed to open a gift without knowing what it is, but in that bag, you will find engraved coasters from our engineering department, eggs from our ag department, keychains from our engineering department, wall art, hand-woven baskets, and the cutest little magnets from our art department, Valentines made by our peer collabs, and finally, one of our Warrior Press newsletters. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we just end the board meeting right now?
Such a positive.
Can you guys refresh your computers? There's a slight change to the board. I just need to. Roger, can you refresh your computer?
How do I do that?
Yeah. Just click
What do you
that
mean
little
refresh?
doohickey right there, that circle.
Oh, that.
Yep, click that. If it kicks you out, then you can click back in. Hang
All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, just go back. Please. Thank you.
Gotta go on now. All right, how about request to speak from Teamsters Local 413? Request to speak from Southwest Sleeping Education Association. Need a motion for approval of the January 18th minutes, please?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mr. Zani,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. We have a personnel consent calendar, 6.
I think we have financial report.
Oh, we do, sorry, missed it. Sorry, I was gonna skip you, Mr. Jones.
Yeah,
We
that's
need a
all right.
motion to approve the financial report, please.
Motion approval.
Second.
Included with the agenda is the executive summary for the month end January 31st. Fairly routine month. We did receive our third income tax settlement for the fiscal year, and it again came in below estimates. This is kind of reoccurring throughout the whole state because I was on a presentation the other day, and across the whole state, all school district income tax is down 1% over last year, as well as the state too is down on their income tax collection. So I know the state saying it's about some large refunds that they're issuing is the reason why theirs is down, but it's just not our district. The income tax is down across the whole state. I'm not exactly sure why. So, year to date, we're about 300,000 below where we anticipate being. So, but we're still 500,000 above where we anticipate being for the whole year because our expenditures are lower than we anticipated. So, overall, we're doing very well. It's just income tax is not coming in as well as we hoped. That will be reflected in the new forecast with the lower income tax projections going forward because, again, you can't assume based on our last 2 years, which have been very good. Other than that, it was a very routine month, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have. Not as well as that student, but I can try to answer.
All 3 payments were lower than expected, or
Yep,
just the last 2?
all 3.
Okay.
The first one we had more of an explanation is where a very wealthy taxpayer paid a $200,000 payment in March versus instead of April, so it's 2 different months. So that's part of the reason why we were such a large increase last year, and down at least the July one down, but at least this quarterly for end of December 31st, I was trying to match last year's and it still came below last year's estimate. So last year's actual, so we just got to keep an eye on it.
Any questions for Mr. Jones?
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Zani,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. Now we can go to personnel consent, 6A through J, or some portion of those.
Motion to approve 6A through J. Second.
There's
Anything?
nothing substantial at this time.
All right, Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mr. Zani,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. Got some additional personnel, 7A through C.
I move 7A through C.
Second.
Mr. Jones?
Mr. Zani,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Abstain. business items. We have 8, A through H. Any one or all of those?
The addition was an overnight field trip, which is why we had you refresh for rugby.
Oh, gotcha.
Motion to approve 8A through H.
I'll second that.
So the first item is a resolution of a practicality for Blessed Sacrament. Any questions on that, or I'll just keep rolling? Okay. So the policies for second reading, we talked about those last time. Very slight changes to those, nothing substantial. We do have an overnight field trip for rugby. Dan Hayes is here. He's hiding in the back wing over there. If you have any questions or if you want to share anything, Dan, not to put you on the spot. Come on, come share. Okay.
Sorry, I don't typically come to public meetings in mid-year. Chances of me not being ill by the 1st of March are pretty slim. But we are hoping to take a trip from March 1 to March 3. We'll leave well after school, like 5:30 in the evening on Friday, come back on Sunday. We're going to Butler Springs Camp and Retreat Center, essentially doing basically a two-part. About half the time will be spent on rugby because eventually we have to play that game against other people. And then the other half will spend doing basically team building, leadership, education, which is really what we're more passionate about than the rugby probably. So that's the whole point of the trip. The coaches are basically the chaperones. Everyone's been background checked, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Where's the camp at?
It's just outside. It's like kind of between Cincinnati and Springfield.
Okay.
Boys and girls teams.
Boys and girls teams. There's separate dorms. We'll be separated. And I probably won't sleep for 2 days. Making sure they stay separated. One of them's my daughter, so she's super cool.
All right, that's good.
Good. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you for being
Thanks,
here.
Dan.
You're welcome.
D is resolutions accepting amounts of rates. This is determined by the Budget Commission. We don't really have a lot to say.
Right.
We can lower them if we want to, but we can't raise them. So it's routine. Do you want to talk about E?
I'll talk a little bit and then you can jump in.
Okay.
So E is our proposal from Garmin Miller for some of the work on the campus with the new elementary and middle school. And so part of that is going to be fixing our soccer fields that are long overdue for some TLC. So the current game field of soccer will have new sod as well as new fencing, some, what's the appropriate term, the netting behind the backdrops. It will be a significantly nicer playing field. I think the coaches will be very happy. We're also going to put in a new practice field. And that will be on the opposite side of the current playing field, away from the current practice field. So the current practice field will remain as is. People can utilize it. The elementary will use it for extra space for play and recess and all those sorts of things, but that will not be their primary field of practice. So there will be a new field next to the game field. And then in addition, we're putting additional parking at the K3 and around the stadium, and then additional parking and detention at the Kirkersville swing space. So do you want to add anything, Rick?
No, so that's the kind of the goal of the projects. Everything needs to be bid out. These are estimates created by either Ryan DeMay when it comes to soccer fields or Gar Miller when it comes to the parking lot. So really the purpose of the estimates is for Gar Miller to determine a fee for their services, and that's what we're asking you to approve is the fee for Gar Miller services tonight for those various projects.
Do you guys have any questions on that? I think our soccer families will be very happy.
Yeah. I mean, very happy.
F is our furniture bid for Kirksville Elementary. So there's a base bid, and then we had chosen some alternates to go with it. So the total base bid plus alternates was $391,000, and the actual cost came in at $357,000, which is below estimates. So that's always a good thing.
So that was nice because we were able to get all the alternates too. So
Yeah,
the teachers will be happy about that.
Will that all be available, like shipping? It's not
Oh, yeah.
been delayed or anything
Right
like
now,
that?
everything is good.
That's part of the tell them tomorrow it's been approved so they can get things ordered. So
okay.
Are you going to pull up the playground on the screen?
Yeah, Jeff probably can.
Yeah, I think. So.
Second one, Greg.
Second one. So we have found through working in the playgrounds, it was really a little eye-opening when we added in the soft surface playground here at the ELC. But since we first started all of these building projects to now, and with the pandemic, there's been quite an increase in cost to playgrounds. So when they first presented the playground, I used the word sad. They told me I was underwhelmed, but I felt sad. It for the budget we had originally allocated, it just was not great. So we had to put additional funding towards it because it needs to be equal to our other buildings, so it's equitable for all kids. So if you can kind of, Jeff, there we go, thank you. So as you can see, this is the soft surface area. There will be a nice sidewalk around the playground, which will be unique to this building. This part of the playground will be accessible to all students. There are different, you can keep just scrolling and I'll kind of talk as we go. The big slides, we had a committee from Crokersville pick this. They picked the colors, the teachers, and all the equipment, so I think they had a good time doing that. There's additional pieces that we'll be able to use inclusive for all kids. They'll be coming up. There's one right there. And then hold on for a second on this slide, Jeff. So then this is also something new to this playground. This will be a sensory area for kids. And so this will, definitely another area that will meet a different population of students, and everybody can play on it, but it'll be open for them, and I think they'll really enjoy that. Do you want to keep rolling, Jeff?
Is that soft surface as well?
That is not soft surface. The sensory area is not soft surface, no.
It's mulch or something
Mulch.
else?
It'd be
Yes,
mulch.
correct.
Okay.
And then keep going. To get to the swings here. And then this will be the swings. That is soft surface. And that one swing, as you can see, is different from the others. We are able to intermix the swings. So based on the needs of the student population, they can be changed out. We can add more, et cetera. So that's the nice thing about this swing set. And that is soft surface right there as well. So unfortunately, like I said, the initial playground they proposed was just not going to work for us. So we did have to add additional funds to this. But I think that playground the kids will love, and I think there's a lot for everyone to do. And I think the committee did a great job. The teachers did a great job. And admins from the building. Do you want to talk about the boosters, or do you want me to talk about that?
Good. Doing a good job.
Okay. So this is the agreement with the athletic boosters for the repayment of the concession stands. We did decide as part in our advisory group, as well as Rick and I, to pay for the roof of the concession stand. So that took a little over $50,000 off of initially the repayment for what the boosters was going to pay us back. So this agreement is with that adjustment on it. And I think the boosters appreciates that help from the district and the school board as well.
And we have already received the first $100,000 payment. So.
And the rest is singled out and
Singled out
will be paid
for
back.
over 10 years. Too.
And my understanding was that the roof, we required them to put the roof on the way that
We wanted it to match the others, so yes,
so
correct.
that added more cost to them. So
Yes.
I completely understand that.
So, any questions?
Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny.
Yes.
All right, treasurer's items 9A and B.
Motion 9A and B. Second.
A is donations, and we always appreciate those. And B is statement of purpose for Eco Summit. So,
And I'd like to add, I know it's Rick's part, but
yeah.
I just think it's worth noting that, like since he's here, Dan Hayes, they're donating $40,000 for the rugby field, so it will make it accessible for wheelchairs. Yeah, and
I was
we're
gonna
adding
say
in
the
a
same thing
sidewalk,
since
and
he
so
was here.
yeah, so I think that's a pretty substantial donation, and I think it's going to do great things for that rugby field. So we appreciate the partnership with them to work on that together.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sorry, Rick, wasn't trying to steal your thunder.
No, that was very important. So. That's all I have. You answer any questions?
Any questions? Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. Okay, item 10, superintendent's items.
Okay, so I know we've heard a lot of really amazing things tonight. I'm going to add great things that are happening in the district to what was already shared. So our high school quiz bowl, and actually I was excited because I saw Camden Clear in the audience, but I think he left with the Eco Kids. For the first time since 2019, we won the LCL. So they are headed to the regionals. So kudos to that team and Kathy Beery, and who works with them. Our Connection Club, I know Susan talked a lot about this, but the IS team at Kirkersville set up the Connection Club to go to the Planasium today. So that was a fantastic experience for those kids as well. Coming up next month, March 18th, will be the Licking County Job Fair. So I anticipate you're going to start seeing our first round of new hires through attrition and growth at the April board meeting. So we're excited to host that again for the third year in a row. That's been a huge success, so looking forward to that. We can't often say this, Kirkersville and the new elementary are on schedule. That's very, very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Kirk's on schedule, the new elementary's ahead. I did have, I put out a survey through Katie Piaquadio, the principal, kind of getting a gauge on what the teachers wanted to do, if they wanted to move, if we could get it early, like maybe late February, early March, or wait till the fall. And it's not consensus, but it's a majority want to wait. So we'll end the school year a few days early for kids, and we'll go ahead and move on over then. And then when they come back from the summer, they'll be ready to roll, which will help parents for when we redistrict anyway. So honestly, it's probably better overall for everybody.
And you mean the fall of 25?
The fall of 25, yes. So yeah, we'll start sharing the redistricting this spring in the coming months with the board, and then that'll be obviously to the public, but we'll share out in the fall so parents can start planning. They'll have a full year, and then we'll go in the fall of 25. Yes.
We will be redistricted in the fall of 25.
Yes, but everybody will know in the fall of 24
where they're going to go.
Where they will go in the fall of 25.
Perfect.
So you'll have plenty of time to plan.
Okay.
TAN has been working with Illuminate on a partnership for the school district. They have already made their first donation of $2,500 to the high school robotics. So they're talking about doing some other cool things too, but we'll wait to see how that goes. So maybe eventually he'll want to share some more of that stuff. So we are really excited for that partnership. Let's see, the task force will meet again next week on Wednesday. We'll be looking at the results from the community survey. We had a great amount of participation, and I think those results will help drive where the task force heads next. So I'm eager to see what comes of that meeting next week. And then the last thing, Jeff, do you want to pull that up for me? I put that up so everyone can see it too in the audience here, Roger. The community compass that will be going out tomorrow, so you have a hard copy too, but I wanted to share the first picture here and kind of explains as an overall, Kathy. There you go.
I'm sorry.
An overall aerial site of where we actually have additional land in this district. So people have been asking, well, if you have with your growth, if you need additional buildings, where will they go? So I wanted to share this with the community so they could see this is one area where we have land and it can house additional buildings. So that's the first part. And then if you scroll down, I know that's tiny print, but I shared a little bit about Pataskala South Fork because I wanted the community to know how large, I'll just read kind of the paragraph below. It says the new elementary will have 44 classrooms, including 24 typical classrooms, 6 small groups, 10 with restrooms, 4 specialty rooms, which include art, music, gym, and a lab. The building is approximately 78,650 square feet, which makes it 20 to 25,000 square feet larger than any other elementary. Each academic wing is over 280 feet long, and there has been over 6,000 yards of concrete poured to make up the classroom floors. This building will qualify for a LEED Silver rating, which provides a framework for healthy, highly efficient, and cost-saving green buildings. And it is going to be a big elementary, and they're going to be long hallways. So I thought that was interesting to share with the community. And then as I'm trying to do each month, I'm trying to help educate everyone on all of the growth in the district and where the developments are coming from. So this is Scenic View Estates. You cannot access it directly. You have to go through Hazelwood, Ravines, or the neighborhood behind Kroger, or eventually an access off of Beechwood. Eventually there will be 5 points, but right now you can't hit all of them. And there will be 60 homes back there with 1 to 5 acre lots. They're currently working on phase 1, the first 17 homes. So wanted to share that with everyone as well. And this will go out tomorrow on social media and to our families. Do you have any questions for me?
I appreciate you keeping everyone updated with this, and I think it's great that the community can see this growth month after month because it's not stopping.
Correct.
And, it's better to be proactive than reactive, certainly. So I appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And that's it for me.
questions for the superintendent? How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Vincent?
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler?
Yes.
Mr. Zani?
Yes.
Mrs. Engel?
Yes. We are adjourned at 7:10 p.m.